Hello everybody, welcome back. Literally a few seconds after my Thorpe Park main vlog. Today we're climbing the Swarm roller coaster. It's a bit rainy right now, but this video is all about the UK's first wing coaster. There it goes. This entire video is dedicated to the Swarm at Thorpe Park, so why not film a ride. It's just gone past 6:30 PM in the afternoon or evening now, and the park shuts at 7 PM. And it would be rude not to have a ride on it just before climbing it, so we're going to do that just now. And it is raining a bit, so hopefully that does stop. But at least it's a warm day, so that the rain isn't too bad. Well, I was going to say that we could have used our fast pass, but the queue is so short that we don't need to use it. It's literally walk on. We can do this more than once without fast track. A walk on ride on the Swarm, happy days. Well, we've just had not one, not two, but three back-to-back rides on the Swarm. A perfect start to this vlog before we climb it in a few minutes. It's just gone 7 o'clock and our climb is at around 7:15. So we're going to be back in just a minute. And there it goes. When you're on the lift hill, you can look down, it's quite high. So guys, you joined me back at my house because this isn't the day I did climb the Swarm. That was actually a week ago now since I did that. But what I've done is I've converted all the clips from the climb into one video, and I'm sort of going to talk through with it as we watch the video. I've got it here on OBS Studio. It's just a black screen right now, but you'll be able to see it all in just a sec. So I'm just going to explain everything we did as the video goes. We started off in like the safety room where you can put on your, show you the lanyard and pin badge. I'm going to play the video now. Ready? Here we go. So that's the pin badge I got there at the start of the climb. I conquered 127 feet on the Swarm. It then showed us the safety video on everything you got to do, you know, and stuff to keep you safe. Put on the harness before you climb the Swarm. All the different scenes, and this is us walking towards the ride itself after the park hours. No one's there, it's just me and a few other people. About how many of us were there? There was 6 of us climbing the Swarm, 3 on each side. And that's the entrance where we started this vlog. You never get, this is all stuff that you don't normally get to see at the park after the hours. Off from this point. So when they said mobile phones off, that was when they showed the control panel where you can operate the ride. So basically what they did is showed you all the different buttons like operate, air gates, restraints, all of that stuff. Is there's probably more than I mentioned in this video. In fact, there probably is. Yeah, there was a screen like an iPad embedded with the system where there's like tracking of the ride, like where each train was. In that case there was 2 trains, there was one parked on the brake one and the other one was in the maintenance shed. I'll come to that later in the video though, because it's not just the climb we do, we also check the other stuff. But yeah, they had other buttons as well, which is really cool. Another one I liked was the effects. So you know, like all the different effects they have at the Swarm, like the wing overdrop, the smoke that comes out the plane, or like the fire effect that doesn't work anymore, they said. But the spinning helicopter wing on the little turnaround bit, that bit was moving. and they operate it like that by pressing the buttons. It's really cool, it's really interesting. We were in there for about 10-15 minutes and they explained it all. Yeah, it was very interesting. And then there was two doors on each side to go, like, you know, on the left side, on the right side, because obviously it's a wing coaster. So, and on the actual ride you have to go up the stairs like you saw earlier. Here we go then, this is the start of the climb. Right at the bottom. We're just about to get hooked onto that little fence you can see. Yeah, this is a shot of me a little bit high up, about height of the station. This is when we started climbing. The views at that point were already amazing. And that's about the height of the tree line, I'd say. And like, we're above the building, we're about level with that final inversion. The views you got were already amazing. And you're right next to the track. And if you look down, it's quite scary for some people. It was surprisingly not that scary. I thought I'd be quite terrified of the height, but it was actually alright in the end. You knew you were safe and stuff. But the views were amazing already. That was about 70 feet in the air, I reckon. And if you look down like that, it is quite high already. That's only about halfway up. And then it says, in case of evacuation, secure the train against running forward if the last coach is in front of that sign. That's really cool to see, because when you're on the ride, you're up there really quick, you don't really get to see it. So yeah, that's really nice to see, and that's pretty much at the top from that clip showing there. That inversion's about 100 feet. And yeah, we are, and at this point, it does look small. I did talk a little bit on the video, not much. But yeah, those views were amazing. As you can see tidal wave in the lagoon, stealth looking over there. You can see the train parked in the station.
Yes, please.
And I think the other one will be, the other train is probably in the maintenance shed. And there you go, across Swarm Island, you can see the helicopter wing. And Hyperia, what a view of Hyperia. Not only you could get the good views of Thorpe Park, it's also the views of the surrounding area. Like all of like the landscaping around it, the lake. It was really cool. And there's stealth, I've zoomed into it. The views were just spectacular. I'm gonna say this loads. Like, stealth looks tiny, even though stealth is bigger than the swarm and taller. It still looks small from like how high it was. Because the swarm is taller than every ride except Hyperia and stealth. Look at that zoom in, Hyperia, so cool. A brilliant photo opportunity, and that's probably going to be my thumbnail choice, maybe. And you can also see the storm surge boats parked up on the lift hill. It's not just about the climb, you can also see what happens to Thorpe Park after the park hours, what they do behind the scenes. And that has a view from the other side of the lift hill. It was amazing. You can see lots of buildings over there. I think Heathrow Airport is around there as well. Look at that view, that's the car park. And look at that twist on the inversion to go down the first drop. At the point of recording, about now, it was starting to get... It wasn't broad daylight, but it wasn't pitch black either. It was like in between, so you could see all the lights starting to show up on stealth. You can see red and blue. And then by the airtime, it was the purple lights. Very quiet. It was quite peaceful up there. And you can see Hyperia starting to light up. I'm sure I'll show it in a second. There you go, look, there it is. It wasn't pitch black, but it was getting dark at that point. Nemesis Inferno lit up in sort of red pinkish colour. And Amity Cove down there. It looks tiny from up where I was. What a view. Oh, this was a good shot I did, like me standing right at the top, facing the camera down towards the bottom. It was really cool. A really cool angle, and you can see all of Swarm Island just below us. And you can see the survival game Scare Maze. Now at this point we were on our way down, but that wasn't the end of the climb yet, because there was still a couple of other things to do with the ride, such as the transfer track, which I'll show you in just a sec from these videos. This was pretty much at the bottom now. In fact, it was at the bottom, and the climb was amazing. The views you got were spectacular once again. And you can see over there that the track's been missing. I wonder why. It's all safe about it, it's how the ride works. And that's me touching the track right there. It was quite greasy, obviously, because it's been running since 2012. That's 13 years. That's the transfer track. And you can see the other train parked up over there. That's how they operate the ride. Got not just the cabin, got also buttons around the station. And that's a view. That's a nerdy view right inside the track. That was a really cool shot, I think. Right inside the track. Look at that. How it all works. The tyres, the brakes, the magnetic brakes. Apparently they said the tyres act as brakes. And that's a view inside the track. It's hollow inside. And there's the track over there that is normally on this side. And there's the second train parked up for the evening. It was pretty much dark at this point, as you can see. It was getting darker the later it went on. And there we go. That is pretty much the end of the climb in terms of the actual shots of what I got. It was a really good view, really good. My favourite part was obviously the crest at the top, looking at the views. But it was also interesting to see the stuff, how they operate the ride, like the operating buttons, the effect buttons where they turn it on and that. And like that little iPad screen where it shows you all the stuff. I couldn't take any pictures or videos, but I'm doing my best to describe it. It was really cool. And they had just lots of accessories and stuff, loads of locks. It's very safe how they operate these rides, very safe. And they've made it extra safe since that Smiler crash in 2015. They had like two little signs on the roof where it tells you how many trains there were on the track or in the ride area. There were two in that point. There's 2 trains on the Swarm. But for other rides such as Smiler, there are more than that. I think there's about 5 or 6 on the Smiler. And especially for other rides at Thorpe Park, like Saw the Ride, they've got loads of trains because, you know, they're smaller. Yeah, for things like that. But yeah, it was a really good climb. And I'll see you for the outro of the video. A little view of Thorpe Park at night, which you don't really get to see, especially when it's summer. Well, and with that brings the close to this VIP coaster climb on the Swarm at Thorpe Park. It was an amazing experience, and the views you got were amazing. The videos I managed to get footage of probably didn't do justice, because it was a really amazing view. It was at sunset as well, where you could see all the sun going down, the lights starting to turn on. As of now it is pitch black pretty much, and all the rides are lit up, but when we started to climb it was daylight and then sunset just as you went up the climb, which is really good. It was a brilliant experience, and I really do want to do Hyperia as well, which you have to do Swarm or Colossus first. Now that we've done Swarm, I want to climb Hyperia. I don't know when that'll be, maybe next year, I don't know. But in the future, I want to do that. But climbing the Swarm today was an amazing experience, something I've never really done before. Normally you're up there so quick that you can just take in the views, just taking the views without having to worry about looking back or something when you're on the ride. But yeah, that brings a close to this video. Comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video, which is probably going to be a vlog at Chessington Wild Adventures or a Minecraft story mode episode. See ya!